As promised, I'm going to do a little video on the pickup covers and just how I'm going to age them. So I've got two of these and they're aged a little bit differently, which I think kind of gives me a chance to show how much time to leave the pickup cover, I guess that's probably the best name for it, in the ground. So this base here came from Japan. You can see it's showing some corrosion from being in a salt water or in an environment where salt water is exposed to the air, and a brand new shiny cover. So we're going to age that one, and just very quickly I'll show the other base I have and for comparison. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put it into the acid fume bath. We'll start for half an hour, maybe go up to an hour. So this one doesn't have as much rust and maybe corrosion, but it is a little duller than the other one. So this one may actually require a little bit longer. So let's now just go through the setup. This is the equipment that I use. Hopefully it's a little bit cleaner than that. Okay, just a thing about safety. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do this. And what I'm using is what I believe is the minimum standard for safety, but again, I'm not an expert in this field. So make sure that when you're dealing with acids that you do so safely. For myself, I use safety goggles, a N95 mask, and rubber gloves just to protect myself. So the setup that I use is, luckily my kids work in a fast food restaurant. They have different types of containers and lids. I use a smaller size lid inside of a larger one. And then I put the chrome parts in. And I'm going to be starting, when we go out in a moment, the next segment I'll show you, I'm going to put some acid in. Then I'm going to put the tray in. And then we're going to put a tight fitting lid over top. And then we're going to let the acid fumes do their thing for 30 minutes to 45 minutes to about an hour. Then I'll show you how I neutralize it and clean things off and see the results. Okay, you can see I'm doing this in a well-ventilated garage. Doors open, we're just about freezing. It's almost like COVID is back. Got my mask on, goggles on. I kind of zip my sweater up and stuff and try not to expose my skin. So hydrochloric acid, or also known as muriatic acid. I pour some down on the bottom as I discussed previously. Make sure that my acid is tightly sealed. Okay, so here's a little lid. I've got the two covers, and I'm also putting a strap pin in there because I'm going to add one to the neck heel of one of my bases. Put it in, let it float. So you can see it's kind of floating. The fumes are going to come up. This stuff really stinks, so you do not want to breathe those fumes in. Put a nice tight seal, or as tight as I can. And now we set the timer, give it a half an hour, we'll check, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, we're at the half hour mark. Let's have a quick look and see how we're progressing. So you can see a little bit is happening, much more on the, that's my timer, sorry about that. But so this I think is good enough. These are going to need at least another half hour, but you can see we're starting to get some pitting. We'll be back in half an hour. Okay, here we are at an hour. So we're starting to get some good, well, corrosion, I guess, for lack of a better term, but we're going to keep it in for another half hour yet. Oh, I think we're at the 90-minute mark here now. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, it's getting there. Definitely is. I think that we're gonna give it another half hour though. That should dull everything up just nicely. Okay, here we are at the 2 hour mark. And looking through the lid, I think we're pretty good. Yep, I am happy with that. So that's gonna suit the condition of the pickups quite well, I think. So we'll take those out. And now to neutralize everything. So I got some baking soda, and that will help neutralize the acid. Yeah, what fun. And then I also put it on here. I'm going to rinse this off in a sink, probably my mother-in-law's rather than mine. Kidding. Yeah, kind of. Rinse it off and then it's done, and then we'll have a look at the final product once it's done cleaning. Okay, so here it is after 2 hours. You can see it's a much better fit. I'm probably going to have another go at this tomorrow. And for phase 2, what I'm going to do is just find some gravel and actually just kick it into the gravel and maybe spend another hour. But you can see it's not as shiny or anywhere near as shiny as it was. Chrome is really hard to age, but it also, you know, it really ages well, which is why they use it. So you can see it's sort of much more in keeping with the age of the instrument now than having a brand new shiny one. Anyhow, I hope this video is helpful.